All right, episode 12 of the Hardcore Record Podcast with the band SkyWul coming up. What I love about local underground music is how natural relationships can form from having the same interests. It always gives you that sense of satisfaction just being able to connect with people. Since seeing their flyer and wondering what the name SkyWul was all about, then listening to it, being blown away, this was one show, no matter how tired I was at 47 years old, I wasn't going to miss. And I'm so glad I didn't. So take a listen to these guys and then go check out their rendition of metal. Enjoy. All right, here we are, Hardcore Record Podcast. This is episode 12 with the band SkyWul. We have...
I'm Andrew Skypeck, guitar.
And I'm Michael Woolpants Dudley, vocals,
Nice.
guitar.
Yeah. All right, so basically, I caught you guys down in New Bedford the other night, or a few weeks ago, right? And I just stumbled on the flyer, and I was like, oh, there's two bands on this bill. Let's see what they sound like. And then I heard your band, and I just stopped. And I was blown away. Absolutely loved it. And then I think it was over the weekend. And then during the week at work, I listened to it. And I was just like, sent it to as many friends as I had. And everyone I sent it to loved it.
Nice.
Yeah, I even brought a... Yeah. So, I think I even brought a guy I work with out who was local to New Bedford to see you guys, and he loved the show too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And then talking to you guys afterwards, it was we were all just so excited about talking about metal, So I feel like this was So let's see. How'd the band get started?
That's a Wolfman's question right there.
Well, it was technically officially co-founded in 2016 with me and the drummer Dan. More of just a studio side project. The band you saw us with that night, Grave Speaker, me and the guitarist singer of that band were in a band High and Heavy for a while, signed to the same label that they're signed to. So we split and kind of did our own thing, and for a while, from 2015 to maybe 2023, I was doing High and Heavy. So they were my active gigging band, and me and Dan would just kind of mess around the studio doing our own, playing riffs here and there, and just drinking beers and smoking it up and writing. And then that's kind of what SkyWul was for a while. We had started an album, but it was just me and him. We were thinking about getting a singer and getting other members, and at the time I wasn't really fully developed in the death growls, so I'm happy I figured those out and worked on those for a while. Then from 2016 to let's say 2021 or 2, I say, Andrew got a spot in the space with us, and me, Andrew, and Dan go way back for at least 20 years or so playing music together. Our first band was called American Freeway. You can look that up. And then he joined, and I got our buddy Keith on bass, and it was a full lineup. And then High and Heavy stopped, so I got more time and energy, and then SkyWul finally, came to see the light of day, and now we're banging out albums. We're about to start our second album, and just trying to get more shows and get more heard. So it's nice that you found us organically and helping spread the word a little.
Yeah. That's the point of that's why I started doing this podcast. The older I get, I was like, I want to do something where I'm kind of helping give back, but everyone's talking and generating buzz, and I try to do it to bands that I see live that that I enjoy. So, how about your songwriting process? Does it? Well, take me through the songwriting process for you guys. Is it like just one person coming up with most of it, or is it just all a big collaboration, pretty much?
It's kind of a collaboration, but then someone can just have an idea and just run with it. Sometimes, the drummer Dan, who was my brother, he's like, "Oh, I got this idea for a riff," and he starts mouthing it off like, "I'm like, all right, man. Well, I was like, all right, Mike, what do you got? He's like, oh, I got this riff I've been working on. And then sometimes it's just words. It's like, I want to write a song about the haunted house in Westport.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to write a song
random.
about, like Puckwudgies. And it's like, all right, like, what would it sound like? But usually it starts with like some sort of random inspiration. And then it's, then it just starts cascading. But, sometimes it's like, it's usually a melody that starts it.
Yeah.
And, we find a rhythm for it.
Either a riff or a title or an idea for a song or a riff to go with that. And then we just try to keep hammering through and molding it into something and piecing together parts of songs we have. Or sometimes one of us has like an idea. Like here's a whole skeleton structure of a song, and then we just start hashing through it, little by little.
Nice. What are your influences for I guess to play metal? What kind of or what sparked your interest originally in metal?
That's a big one.
It's a big, but yeah.
Okay. So for me, if you want, I'll go first.
You go first.
It's like when I first heard Metallica's Black Album. This is when I was like 6 or 7. I was like, how do you just get that low end? Like how do you just become a force of nature in music? And I remember it never really left me, So as a kid, I really wanted to be in a band, but at the time, like my parents didn't get me a drum set or buy me a guitar, so I borrowed my uncle's when I was like 14, and it was and it sucks because this amp got lost or got stolen, but it was like a 1960 Vibro Champ Fender amp with like built-in reverb. It was just, at the time I didn't realize it was like a gem, and I borrowed his Les Paul Aria, which was like a Sears catalog guitar, and I was like, all right, how do I sound heavy? I'm like, okay, it's not working. It sounds twangy. It's like, then one of my good friends, John Bernia, we called him Scary John as a kid. He's like, dude, you gotta get a metal zone. I'm like, all right, I'll get a metal zone distortion pedal. And then after that, I was just chasing a sound. Like I just wanted to chase heaviness, and it became, and at that age, like as a teenager, like it just became like it just defined me. I was like, I want to be in a band. I wanted to play songs. I wanted to be heavy, and I was shy. I was pretty shy as a kid, still am. But music was just my way of like just trying to get out there and just trying to be heavy. So I haven't stopped since at 40. So I think I'm doing okay.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, it's piggybacking off him. Black Album, Metallica was the first eye opener for like really mammoth production, and I'm a sucker for good productions. In general, though, my huge influences a lot of us lay within like the early 2000s and 90s or so. Thrash and Swedish death metal, progressive death metal, and all that stuff, and we're also rooted in the classic rock, obviously, of the 70s and 80s, at least for sure, for metal.
Yeah, there's always something good everywhere.
Yeah, it was a meme or something I read somewhere, but it kind of speaks to the band when I say like we don't play music because we think we're great. We play music because music is great. We want to be a part of it, particularly metal. And since we wanted to play music, all of us wanted to be in exactly what we're doing right now, the style of band. But when we started, like 20 plus years ago, that's when we started. We were still really new, so kind of gravitated toward blues and hard rock in general, which is blues rock, and then worked our way to do what we can do now. But it's been a long time coming. It's been building for a while, though, for sure.
Yeah, I think what makes really good bands, and I've seen it over the years, is influences from not just one genre. It's every genre, or like I love Guns N' Roses, we'll say, right? And you can find some bootleg stuff from them, and when they take the electric out of it and they play it acoustic, it's just blues, blues rock, and you're just it blows you away, and then you hear them in a completely different light, and then so yeah,
that was a big influence
across the board.
Playing a Les Paul, the reason why I gravitated toward that guitar, and I've been playing a Strat lately, but as a kid I saw Slash in a music video like Rise Above Water. He was ripping a Les Paul, and then like he ripped a solo in a church after he was the coolest best man in all of history, and I'm like, man, like how do you just like that is so cool, So a bunch of things have influenced us, to like R&B and disco. Like to me, it's just music. If it makes me feel something, if it sounds good, I take something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, easily.
Where did the band name SkyWul come from?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So it's the combination of, well, essentially, at first we wanted to make up a name, something that just like you can't easily just search it. So it's like, oh, this is definitely the guys. We like a lot of like Norse mythology and stuff like that. So we wanted to sound sort of Nordic in a way, I guess you could say. So SkyWul with the umlaut over the U, SkyWul, but we just call it SkyWul. Because SkyWul, so my nickname's Wool Pants. Growing up as a kid, I had really hairy Portuguese, French, background. So I had really hairy legs. So one of my buddy's dads goes, "Hey, isn't it during the summertime? I was over his house. He's like, "Hey, isn't it a little hot for them wool pants?" He's drunk off Budweiser in the middle of a hot summer day.
Yeah.
Good friend of ours, and it was just it stuck for them ever since. So Wool Pants, half the name, SkyWul. Dan's last name and Andrew's last name is Skypack. I don't know why we just chose SkyWul, and it sounded like a dragon, and we like Skyrim, so I think I had some relation to Skyrim that we played for like 10, 15 years. I don't know. That game was freaking nuts. We're huge nerds and RPG nerds.
Yeah.
But SkyWul, I mean, like, it's just some crazy cosmic entity freaking dragon thing, and lots of mystic lore behind it, and make it sort of, weird, absurd, crazy creature that's, just overpowered, and, went from there with it, and when it comes to themes of metal, we like the absurd sci-fi, fantasy, mystic, whatever, creature lore or anything big and crazy and absurd that could be kind of funny but kind of awesome and epic at the same time.
Yeah,
as far as the
nice.
theme goes. But,
yeah, you definitely get that. Yeah.
Yeah, but SkyWul, I thought you just made up, and we just made the name up, and it kind of came from just saying sky and wool.
Yeah, because like all the cool names are taken, like Slayer.
Yeah.
And, like the darkness. Like we should just be the darkness.
Yeah.
We should be the darkness too.
A lot of the simple, good, heavy names, like it's already kind of taken up.
Yeah.
But making one up was kind of fun. Like it's
yeah, I also didn't want to be like Blood Death the band, but like I would do Blood Death the part. I would probably do it as a side project, like. But like I just didn't want to be associated with like gore and stuff. So we picked a name that's kind of flexible and a little bit amorphous.
Yeah.
It's like it could be anything. So.
Yeah, and they make you go, oh, what's that? The first question is, oh, what's that? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Which makes you like, a little bit of mystique to the band. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Once I first heard the name, it was like, I need to know what's going on here.
Yeah. It was an inadvertent sort of marketing like tactic. Oh, that's good. Let's go.
Yeah. Sometimes it just kind of clicks like that. Mm-hmm. When I saw you guys, and I was talking to you right after the show there, we had, I feel like we were kind of all geeking out about like 90s metal. So besides Metallica, what other 90s metal kind of influences you from those days? Like I think we had mentioned like Cannibal Corpse a little bit.
Cannibal Corpse is huge. Probably the first band to do like what you call death metal or black metal now.
It might be the most successful death metal band.
Yeah, the earliest known successful death metal band for sure.
Could be debated maybe, but like they are extremely popular just for
subjective, but definitely. I mean, before them, I don't know what sounded like them. It's out there. I mean, but as far as making it, they're huge. At the Gates is huge. Huge influence, especially the Slaughter of Soul album. That's their best production, and all their albums are good. But I don't know, they never matched that album since that album came out. Just the production and writing of that album is just kind of like the staple for most metal that we like. Modern Moth's huge too. Influence. I like a lot of Modern Moth and where else? So Six of You is pretty good too. Speaking of Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
So to piggyback on the Cannibal Corpse thing, as a kid, my older brother Phil, like he had like the sickest metal CD collection, and I was like, he's like, don't touch my CDs. I'm like, all right, whatever. And like when he wasn't there, and I'm like, Cannibal Corpse, The Bleeding.
The artwork and title of the Cannibal Corpse really.
And I was just like.
I would just stare at some of the artwork and the stuff, like the Tomb of the Mutilated. I'm like, this is like, I don't know if this disturbs me, but the artwork is incredible too at the same time. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Before you even listen to it, you just take a minute to go, what the?
And then I bought a Cradle of Filth shirt, and I wore it in my 7th grade class. I went to Catholic school, and I wore my Cradle of Filth shirt, and like my mother was like, what are you doing? I'm like, whatever. I do what I want. I'll listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that's a fond memory. It's funny because like. You tell people it's like I love Cannibal Corpse, like well, Like, that's kind of gross. I'm like, nah, but as a kid, I'm like, this is just gnarly and heavy, and it just like hits you in the face. It's just so, you know.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
my friends thought it was really weird when I told them I listened to Cannibal Corpse, and they would look up and read the lyrics and go, "Dude, you into some of this stuff?" I'm like, "It's a theme. It's awesome
Yeah.
music, though." But they would think like we were like, so like some people would just take it literally, like, but it's a theme. They tried to go with the most extreme, gory, brutal sound with it that went with their music. That was their theme. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I was particularly blessed with my brother Phil's CD collection because he had a lot of '90s like imports, like Swedish
yeah,
metal, like Blind Guardian, um, In Flames, Dark Tranquility,
yep.
and like At the Gates. I'm just like so as I got really like involved in music that
Opeth
wasn't
too.
Opeth too,
Opeth is a huge influence, especially the early 2000s albums. A lot of
yeah.
those.
So going into high school, I was like, no one
90s
really
too.
listens to no one really listens to the music I listen to. And then my good friend Peter Ortega, he teaches guitar down in DC. He's like, hey man, you like metal? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, like, well, have you ever listened to Earth Crisis? I'm like, I don't know. And I was like, whoa, cool. Like, you like crazy music like I do, And then he's like
yeah,
my only friend from high school, But we identified right away just on like different genres of music. He's like, I got this friend who does this mosh move. I'm like, I don't go into mosh pits. I don't know. But he's like,
yeah.
we just became friends after that. I miss him to this day. I don't know where he is. I gotta find him. But yeah, that's it. It's kind of my history on that.
Nice, nice. Yeah, you one of you said right there before you don't even know why you got like drawn to Cannibal Corpse. You're like, because if you stop and think, like when you look at it, you're like, why am I into this? But it's like, and when you first get into it, you're just like, I'm into this. Like,
Yeah,
it's just funny how you don't know what it is at first, but you get it, and you
Yeah.
know it.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
my youngest kid is starting to get into metal and finding these bands, and I'm like, who is this? And I'm like, well, hey, here's this. So that's
Yeah,
been pretty cool. Yeah,
It's a fun one. Yeah, it's a fun time.
yeah. Um, let's see here. Do you use? Is there much? Because I gravitate in and out of metal so much sometimes. Is there a lot of cover songs in metal? Like, do a lot of metal bands try to do cover songs too much at all?
Like a lot. I mean, almost at any genre, I do a lot of covers. I would say.
like Five Finger Death Punch was that Bad Company. Like do that Bad Company cover.
I
Like
do like a good metal rendition of like songs that aren't metal, like when it's done right, which is fun.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I know with us we have some covers in mind we're messing with, but our first album is actually the songs that are already like years old, so it's like to us it's still played out. And we're at the point where we're like, all right, we're getting write the album too to get it out. That'd be the first album we do where it's like the four of us all together.
okay,
So like covers haven't really for me covers I'd rather just do live versus recording them. A lot of metal bands tend to record them too, which we could do if we get one tight. But
yeah,
we're not. We got lots of covers that we're gonna probably do as the time goes on, but we're definitely more original focused right now, and writing and just getting more content out for us.
cool.
But I don't know. I don't want to say I see a lot. Like you mean like too much or just regularly covered?
Yeah,
The metal covers you're saying?
yeah. Like, would you cover other metal bands in a way? You don't
Other
usually get
bands
it.
too.
Yeah, like in hardcore, you'll get like hardcore bands covering other hardcore bands constantly. Which is fine. I'm not talking against it or anything, but like,
Yeah.
you don't really see it in metal where other metal bands cover other metal songs too much.
Not too much, especially not if it's like it's still an active band. Like they're paying homage to an older band maybe, but yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I see your point. Yeah, I don't see it as common.
Yeah.
I think maybe you might see more people do like an Ozzy or a Black Sabbath cover as a tribute.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it might be more like aligned with like a significant moment, but I can't speak for every metal band, but like there's like we used to practice at this place called the Wamsota Mills, and a lot of people maybe they don't want to admit it, but it's like they would play like maybe you cover those bands to sound like them, to like get your chops up, and then it's like you do your own stuff, but but I used to hear like Pantera cover songs like all the time during band spaces. You just
Oh yeah.
you're walking down, you're always hearing some sort of like Megadeth.
At any
riff.
band space, there's usually a cover going on at any given time. At least one.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but it doesn't seem like it's published as much. It's debatable. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you always hear the metal riffs. Is that a ghost that walked by?
Yeah.
Phantasm?
Yeah, it's my kid.
Oh.
Gotta get the VR headset real quick. It's all good. So how far are you into your new album, your second album here? You got do you have a time frame yet, or are you just working on it?
I think it's probably like a year.
It's going to be released, definitely next year at some point. We're hoping, probably later in the year. We're at the beginning phases of just like our drummers got a new drum kit, and then we're going to reset the mics up and kind of get our studio kind of in mixing record mode. So we're hoping to get a good chunk of it like up and going throughout the winter, like a winter project of just getting going.
So there's like a backlog of riffs, and then you gotta go through the junk
backlog's
drawer.
big. Yeah,
they're like, what riffs didn't make it, and it's like, all right, do we revisit these riffs?
We definitely have a solid album of material just sitting on the shelf. We just gotta like grab it and get everything and like put it together mentally, mostly.
Yeah. You played that new song the other night, or you said it was a newer song for you guys. And,
yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
It definitely, and not against what you have now, but it definitely stood out as a progression.
Yes.
And I'm very excited to what you come out with now. Again.
Cool. Yep.
So yeah.
You know what's right? Yeah, you hit the nail on the head because the next album is going to sound leagues beyond the last album. So if people love the last album, I'm like, I'm so excited for the new album because we're all years better, like 10 years into it. It's good that those songs still stand the test of time because we wrote them like 8, 9, 10 years ago, and like here they are now.
Yeah, it's a big part of the songwriting process is to if everyone is like, yeah, everyone's glowing, it's like, all right, we got something. You just gotta trust your intuition. And it's like Mike wrote the lyrics for Chapel of Snakes, and he's like, this is it. And it's like, I'm not gonna criticize it. He's like, if he's glowing and he's got the ball, like let him run with it. So it's like, you let people run with ideas in a band. It's like I see it. I see where this song's going. It's like, all right, man, let it rip. And then it came together.
And that's the hard part of writing is when it's hard to do that. But when the song kind of writes itself from the energy you get, and you just I see it, and you just go and you can't stop. You get obsessed over it. Like after we jammed the first few riffs we got for that new song, I recorded at my phone. And that night I was up till like 2 a.m, just freaking hitting my little vape pen in bed and just writing and thinking and writing and thinking.
Yeah.
And the next day, I got it. I did not go to sleep until it was done. I had to get it out of me. So it didn't even feel like I tried. It just that's when you know you're doing something you're just into. It's like, all right, it's easy. It just comes natural. It doesn't always happen like that when you're writing.
Yeah.
We wanted to focus on like supernatural, paranormal, basically the Bridgewater Triangle lore for the second album. Like that's what I'm pushing for. Maybe it's the hill I'm gonna die on. Either way, the album's coming out, whether it's just me.
Well,
it's like, dude, we need to write about the Bridgewater Triangle.
We were talking about an EP. We want to do like a really long progressive song, like a good chunk of it instrumental and a good chunk of it just whatever about the Bridgewater Triangle lore and the whole area. And we used to have a huge ghost hunting phase when we were kids, so so we know the area well. We're local, so obviously all that area and like. That original Bridgewater Triangle documentary from 2013 is what we like specifically. It's expanded since then, though. It's a bigger triangle. It's like goes out to the Cape now or Island, which makes sense, though. But anyway,
that's funny.
Yeah.
There was some show.
We want to mess with that.
Yeah, some shows I think was doing an episode on the Bridgewater Triangle, like on Discovery or something. I saw recently.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know though,
Cool.
but I understand lore. I grew up in New Jersey, where the Jersey Devil came from, in like the Pine Barrens. So yeah, I get it.
Local lore is fun.
Are you planning on sticking with just releasing it on your own? Are you trying to search for labels or like getting any physical releases out there?
Well, we're not actively searching for labels. This one we're probably going to do another independent release at the moment. But yeah, we haven't talked too much about labels and deals. We're probably going to stay mostly independent unless we find a good label that's has a good sort of offer or deal. Nowadays, you don't necessarily need a label that much. They only help more so for distribution, though. They're getting your name out more so than anything. But for the most part, you know, you can do a lot yourself nowadays. It's pretty easy. So we haven't focused too much on that at the moment, really. But we're definitely open to obviously labels and considering, you know, any offers or putting promo packages together one day, probably just to shoot it out there and see what happens. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Are your band's everything's available now on pretty much where you can stream music, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First album's out. Yep. All streaming platforms. Yep.
Nice. You looking to go on any tours after you get this thing recorded and do things like that? Yeah.
We would definitely. We're willing to. It just it's how do we get on? You know, if someone offer, like, we haven't really been offered anything, but my friend Andrew Thornell, he's like, you can always just try to hire a booking agent. You know, he goes on tour with his buddies in Elder as a merch guy and like tour manager. So I'm like, hey, like, what's is there a hotline you can call? Like,
Yeah, I know.
He's like, yeah, you could just, he's like, you could try to work with like booking agents, but we're all we're all just committed just to try to put out like a really good album, and if it garners attention organically, we'll be very happy. We're happy with just one show, but yeah, to tour would just be epic. To ask would be mind blowing, or to be asked would be mind blowing, and it would. We're just happy again. We're just happy just to play songs and to put out music and to play shows and have people like it.
Yeah.
So one person or 1,000 people, like it's all pretty much the same to us.
Yeah, if anything, we might plan a small weekend tour or something. Go to New Jersey and bag or something like that. I did that with High and Heavy a few years back before the pandemic, and it's just a lot. It's getting a few bands together and just planning it and booking it takes a little bit, and then we got to plan our lives, all our families and things like that, and just pick a week or weekend if we can do that. That's more the challenge, just getting everybody to We're fortunate to practice once, sometimes twice a week on a good week. So, but getting 4 dudes together in a room once a week sometimes can be pretty hard when hitting your 40s and shit.
Yeah, no, believe me,
Life
I know.
but
Yeah, I had to build Halloween decorations every year. The kid, we build a new Halloween decoration every year.
Nice.
Was
So
it
now we
cannibal
have this big
costume?
giant.
yeah, it was a cannibal
thing with-
costume.
Yeah. It's got a scythe on it and everything right now. So yeah, we're gonna finish it later today. But yeah,
Oh, that's cool, man. That's great.
Word.
yeah.
Fun.
No, this is great. Like I said, I've enjoyed your band. I'll definitely keep pushing it out there more.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You guys are working on the new album, especially once that gets going. Get word of mouth. We'll just get together, help promote it, help push it, and see what comes out. Hopefully we get more of a response with the podcast here. Yeah, I'd like to keep in touch. Got anything else you need to add?
Well, we'll do the same for you.
Yeah.
We'll spread the podcast, and it's, these are great conversations to have. Like, I just want to talk about metal and riffs and partying for the rest of my life, and this is like a dream come true. Just hanging out and with my buddy that I've known for like 25 years. Like,
Yeah.
we just dreamed about just jamming, and now we're like, to me, this is the bee's knees today. I really appreciate you hanging out with us. So, we'll reciprocate.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm so happy you organically just stumbled upon it, and you're like diving right into it. You're just into it. Like, all right, good. So it's the kind of response we would love to hear and get.
Yeah.
Like, genuine, just like love for it.
Nice.
We're trying to serve the metal, so if we do it well, that's the response I'm looking for.
Nice. All right. Sounds good.